Jumping back into Sermon on the Mount, the Ryan McCarthy. Ryan, we're talking about money tonight. Specifically, Jesus is talking about money.
Okay.
So these groups are going to be studying this passage where you put your treasure. You've made some interesting observations about money and the frequency of how much is talked about in Scripture.
Jesus talks about money more than sex, heaven, and hell, maybe combined. I mean, he talks about it a lot. And if you're just to do a quick survey of the passages, there's a lot of danger around money. It's easier for a camel to go through the eye of a needle than for a rich man to go to heaven. I mean, what do you do with that?
Yeah.
There's an emphasis in this passage that money is dangerous because it reveals what your heart treasures. What you put your treasure in, that's what where your heart's going to be.
Right.
And money, I think it's subtle. It's easy to miss this, but we treasure not necessarily money itself, but we treasure the fact that it's a blank check for everything our heart desires. So if you treasure and worship, in a sense, being in that perfect relationship, you might not necessarily think about money other than the fact that it can buy you an image. It can get you the right card, maybe get the right person's attention,
I think that's super helpful because I think a lot of us I would read this passage and think, oh, greed's not my issue. Mm-hmm. I think a lot of people would be surprised.
Me too,
Jesus talks about money a lot, but really that's not our issue. You even told a story about Keller one time preached about
greed. He did a 7 deadly sins to like this men's breakfast thing, and the kind of wealthy guys coming to this thing. And his wife asked, are you advertising which sin you're covering each week? And she very astutely said, the greed week, it'll be a drop in attendance. Not because people didn't want to hear about it, but she was exactly right. There's a big drop in the attendance because nobody thinks they struggle with greed.
Right. And I hope groups catch that. I hope group leaders catch that it's an easy thing to fly by and think, well, I don't really need to dig in here. That's, money isn't a big issue. But like you said, it's not just money. It's money is the blank check for these other things that I find my satisfaction.
And it's not like a rich man's problem.
Right.
Because you can have a lot of money and not trust in money, or you can not have money and really trust in money and be envious and desiring it. But it reveals your heart because your heart is placing trust, and it could be security. Mm-hmm. Money's the way to security. It could be power. Money's the way to power. And there are other things to worship, but Jesus holds these two things up. You can't serve God and money.
Yeah.
You're either going to treasure one, and Thomas Chalmers has a sermon. I remember the title of the sermon. It's called The Expulsive Power of a New Affection. And his whole point of it is you can't fall in love. You can't fall out of love with something until you fall in love with something that's greater. It's like the cure of an old, broken heart is a new love. And that's exactly as we need to love Jesus. We need to see not money as the ticket to all that life can give, but to see Jesus as your life.
That's good.
As the ticket.
I love that. And I hope too I hope this is encouraging because I hope that we see the absolute felt need in our life to study Christ's caution on money, because it's not just about money and greed. It's about all kinds of heart issues that I just use money for. So if you were going to challenge us with just one question, right? One question when I'm getting in my car at the end of the night or closing up our group, what would be one question that you as you've studied this would want us to be asking ourselves?
This is a counselor question, but what do you fear that you trust money to take care of? What is it that you're afraid of that you tend to run to money for? And what would it look like if you ran to God instead?
That's good. That's good. I love that, Ryan. I hope tonight is a huge blessing to you guys. I hope that in your groups, as you study God's word, as you see Jesus' counsel and command and caution, that you're able to go deep, love each other well, and love Jesus in deeper ways at the end of this night. God bless you. We're praying for you. See you soon.